Good morning, everybody. Good morning to people in Peru. Good evening to people in India. It is my pleasure on behalf of INCHAM Peru and IMET to welcome you all to this webinar on business opportunity on medical devices between Peru and India. In this opportunity, we have selected 5 speakers who will brief us on status of medical devices in both countries and identify business opportunity for mutual benefits of both countries. Let me introduce to you Mr. Rohit Rao. He is the president of INCHAM Peru and CEO of SK Group of Companies. He is into healthcare business since last 25 years. He will give us a welcome remark on this webinar. Mr. Rohit.
Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to our INCHAM's and AMED's first virtual meeting to everybody. And I really thank everyone from India to be a part of this important event. And I really inform everybody in Perú, buenos días. Sabemos que es un poco temprano, pero es una cosa muy importante para todo lo que va a pasar, ¿no? Indian friends, I would like to inform INCHAM today is doing a lot of help to everybody in Peru. And we'd like to also inform that as both of us together in India with Julia and in Peru, we'd like to invite many other Indian companies to be part of INCHAM, where we can really help everybody to have a proper business structure into Peru. Now, coming back to what is happening in Peru, what has happened for last 22 years, Indian pharma has made his way into the meeting, yeah. But unfortunately, the medical devices and the discardables have still not made a proper headway into the country. There are many reasons for which I'd like to inform, which all of you can really help. I mean, INCHAM can help you to get into this properly. Initially, the volume of business in Peru may not sound very huge for the people in India, but slowly it's going to grow. Now, the right way and the right approach to get into this is to get your products registered and to get your products approved by the medical doctors in the country. I know it's a bit of an uphill task, but initially this is the only way to do. That's how China got into when the multinationals like Johnson & Johnson, B&D, and Nipro and all the big companies started putting a lot of pressure. So what they did was they got their product approved not only by the local FDA, but also by the local doctors, the anesthesiologists, the MRs, and everybody inside the hospital. The Indian pharma finally, after so long of fight, got a good recognition into this country. Now it is up to us in India and here in Peru to help and make sure that also the medical devices and the discardables get into this structure of the business. Said, done or no, it's about $100 million business for medical devices and discardables and growing. And it's going to really grow with 4 folds in next few years to come because of the COVID problem. So it's very important for us to understand that we have to register the products and we have to get the products quality-wise accepted by the different hospitals in the social security as well as the government hospitals. And also there's a huge opportunity for doing a joint venture here in Peru. I mean, we understand that it's not easy for Indians to make small lots of high quality products, as you have to print in Spanish, you got to print again in English and then get it exported. So there's a possibility here. There are few laboratories in Peru who can do like a CKD form, like a complete knockdown form, or a SKD form, semi-knockdown condition, which can come from India and can be repacked here and can be sterilized in the country. So as INCHAM, we can definitely find such partners for people in India. And this way can be much more dynamic, and you can also take care of the other countries in the nearby nations, like Chile, like Bolivia, Ecuador, Central America, including Argentina. because Argentina accepts Peruvian products when it comes to medical devices. So the opportunity is huge, my dear friends, and let's take it dynamically forward. And let's really understand why we in India took us time to get into this structure. The Indian pharma has really made its way into it. But there's going to be a huge success story for us for the medical devices. So let's take advantage of this. Let's take advantage of what is happening today for COVID. And let's take advantage of Peru's free trade agreement with complete Latin America, where you can do some sort of manufacture in the country and get your certificate so it can go into all the Latin countries. In much of the Latin countries, or much of the products even without registrations, because they accept homologation of these type of products into other countries. So I give back this mic back to Swapnil Pathak, who can then help everybody else who's in the panel. And really thank everybody to be present today. And we wish all the success and all the best. And be clear that INCHAM is here to be a big support for everybody in India and for everybody here in Peru. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rohit, for the welcome remarks. Now I would like to invite our first speaker is Mr. Enrique Sandro Sapelton Ponce. He will talk about the medical device sector in Peru. He's an entrepreneur dedicated to the field of healthcare for last 21 years, who has specialized in medical devices and hospital equipments. He always seeks to bring innovative products that improve the quality of life of the patient. He was the director in the Chamber of Commerce of Lima till 2019 and currently chairs the medical equipment sector in the Chamber of Commerce. He has completed his master's in international business management and is in MBA from the health industry. Mr. Sandro, please take over.
Could you repeat me his name again, Swapnil? I'll search him and I'll mute him.
Enrique Sandro Sapelton.
Spell out, please.
Enrique.
E. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Now, Mario, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see you, sir.
Okay. Can I share my screen, please? I want to share my presentation.
Sure. Yeah. Now you're allowed to share the screen.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Pathak. Thank you for the opportunity to share some information with this audience. Let me. Can you see me, right? Okay. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for letting me share this information with the audience. My name is Sandro Stapleton, Trade Director of Puramed of Medical Devices Company. First of all, I want to do an analysis of the healthcare talk in Peru in the next 10 minutes. Since 2008, Peru has made significant progress in expanding healthcare infrastructure, lowering barriers to access, and modernizing public sector institutions. We can say that Peru health sector benefit from rising public investment and innovative treatment approach in the last 10 years. This process has been supported by major sectoral reforms in 2009 and 2013. Coupled with cooperation with international aid agencies, nonetheless, the country faces ongoing infrastructure limitations, a shortfall of doctors and other medical professionals, as well as persistent disparities in access and quality between rural and urban areas. These gaps has been partially filled by private sector with a number of private clinics. Even if it's very little one, this is the place where the most have most opportunities to grow in technologies. Let me. Oh, sorry. Okay. We have in Peru, we have 4 entities operating in this sector. 3 of them are public and 1 of them private. These include the Integral Health Insurance operated by the Ministry of Health, which is the largest insurance provider, covering around 66% of the population. The second largest provider is the state. In the state is the social health insurance, which covers those in the formal economy, the social security. 35% is the blue one in the graphic with 35. The armed force and the policy that have 5%, and the private health insurance providers cover just the 4% of the population. Let me show you some highlights and some statistics from Peru. Peru was the first country in Latin America to read with the sanitary and economic measures against the coronavirus. The country is in mandatory quarantine since Monday, March 16. Now we're still in quarantine. It's like 85 days locked. Following the passage of the universal health insurance in 2009 and 2013, the reform package, the health indicators have shown a marked improvement in the country. The coverage has increased with the percentage of Peruvians with some form of health insurance rising from 37 in 2004 to reach 95% as last year, no, in 2019. The national budget allocated to the sector is rose from 1.6 billion in 2008 to almost 5.3 billion in 2020. We expect to triple this business in 10 more years. We hope that even with this situation here in Peru, we have to say here that we were very behind investment. As Rohit talked before, we seem like even if we have a big progress in the economy situation, the health was abandoned for the last 20 years. So we're trying to recover our place in the healthcare sector. Sorry. Sorry. Continue. Okay. I have to tell also our gross domestic product.
Si
Yes.
puede ampliar la pantalla porque está preguntando si puede a poner full
Sí.
screen.
Sorry.
Está bien, está bien.
Now?
Sí. Gracias.
Aquí?
Sí.
Okay.
No.
No? Oh. Okay, now?
Yeah. Sí.
Está
Yeah.
bien,
Sorry.
está bien, ahora
Thank
está
you.
bien.
Okay, the number of medical doctors in the country were increased from around 49,000 in 2010 to approximately 82,000 in 2018, almost double. No, we're also working this. Now we have also 1,815 nurses. We hope also to double in the next 10 years. I don't think we can do it in doctors, but in nurses and the assistential person, we are going to do it. The life expectancy also rising from 71.6 years at the beginning of the 2000 to 75.5 in 2016. Also, this is a good ratio because we are giving better opportunities in health to our people, right? Also, there are some inequalities in urban and rural. That's something we have to fix. For example, in urban, we have one doctor per 2,050 people in Lima and Arequipa, that are cities, and in rural, far away from the cities, are in Amazonas and Huancavelica, we have one doctor every 1,700 people. So the difference is very, very strong. According to the Peruvian Medical Federation, we're lacking from 18 more doctors and including an additional 15,000 medical specialists to meet the patient needs. No, in hospital beds, we are like 50,000 beds in Peru. After COVID, I think we're gonna be like grown like 6 or 7%, but we're still lacking in hospital beds. In Peru, we are far away from Brazil and Chile. No, Brazil is 24 and Chile is 21. Okay, let's talk to some opportunities. No, that's the important thing for the business. No? The middle class is increasingly to private sector, known as self-service providers, EPS, no? System covered around 2.1 million Peruvians. In Peru, we are 32 million Peruvians. No, it's like it's 4 or 5%, no, around. Peru has one of the most sophisticated public-private partnerships. We have experience in building hospitals, particularly from construction of social infrastructure, including clinics and hospitals. There are a lot of health infrastructure projects expected to continue to rise. We have like 11 hospitals in the package trying to be built. It's like 2.7 billion the investment planified for this. The country imports most of its medical equipment. We don't have a big industry of medical devices in Peru. Almost the 90% is imported. In 2007, for example, Peru imported 355 million worth of medical equipment. The universal coverage along an increasingly affluent middle class seeking private treatment. When the middle class is growing, they are looking for better healthcare systems, so they're going to the private sectors to trying to find new technologies and ways of treatment. No? Demand for diagnostic image equipment, including computed, tomography scanner, robotic radio surgery system, and gamma knife appears set to grow. And more concrete, the government in these 2 months changed a lot of things in health. One of these is declaring an emergency of the health, and there is a list of critical products that the government declared in a resolution, like they're gonna be, or that we need to have in all hospitals. And I listed here: secretion vacuum cleaner, multiparameter monitor, ventilators, oxygen concentrator, pulse oximeters, nasal cannula, glove for exam and surgical, lancet, oxygen mask, infrared thermometers, protective masks, oxygen balloons, disposable surgical boots, face masks, respirators, disposable gowns, protective glasses, rapid tests, and molecular tests. This is exactly the list that all hospitals we are gonna need, and we don't produce this. So there is a big opportunity for India to bring this to our countries. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for your patience. I have to.
Muted. Hello. Thank you, Sandro, for your presentation. I would like to invite Mr. Abhinav Thakur from Accurus Biomedicals. He's a graduate from Rion University of California. He's a managing director of Accurus since 2004. Es just, tiene que, Sandra, abajo dice compartir pantalla, hay que cerrar ahí nada más.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Well, Abhinav is a managing director of Accurus since 2004. Due to his dedication and passion, the company has grown 4.2 times in the revenue and the team strength from 90 to 200 employees. Accurus Biomedical was established by late Mr. A.G. Thakur in 1984. It's being one of the first company to manufacture clinical chemistry reagents in India. And Accurus has been pioneer in medical diagnostic industry of India. Mr. Abhinav, please take over.
Hi. Good evening. Can you hear me? My voice is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening in India. Good morning in Peru. So I will be taking you through the business opportunities in the in vitro diagnostic sector in the medical devices. So that's where I operate in the in vitro diagnostics vertical of the medical devices. So welcome to this webinar, and we'll see that India has been extremely successful and is called the pharmacy of the world. In the pharmaceutical sector, we have been extremely successful, and the success you can see in terms of Indian pharmaceutical market is the third largest in terms of volume and 13th largest in terms of value in the world. India has the second highest number of US FDA manufacturing facilities. So this is the highest number of US FDA factories that are existing outside the US. Labor costs in India are lower than other manufacturing hubs by up to 40%. So this is a big advantage that we are having in India, that our labor cost is down by almost 40%. And not only that, our labor is more economical, but our labor is extremely talented. So our country has a large pool of scientists and engineers who have to an even higher level, bringing innovation. And some of the contribution of our pharmaceutical industry, millions of people rely on affordable medicines made in India to stay alive, especially in Africa, where India is contributing a lot to the WHO, USAID programs. Access to affordable HIV treatment is one of the greatest success stories and contribution of India in the pharmaceutical sector. India is one of the largest suppliers of vaccines and has the largest vaccine manufacturer of the world in India, Serum Institute of India, which is manufacturing the highest number of vaccines manufactured in any company. So we are known as the pharmacy of the world, and also we have another strength, that we are the information technology capital of the world. Most of the Fortune, or I would say all of the Fortune 500 have their back offices in India, which are working in their information. We have built strength in the pharmaceutical sector. We have built an information technology sector, and this can lead India to be the ivory capital of the world. So how can this happen? You see, so the hybrid of the pharmaceutical and the IT success can lead to IT-based IVDs. And today you see that the world is changing with smart technology. So smart point of care testing systems are built on an integration of software and the in vitro diagnostic system. So for example, this is a success story here in India where we have this Swasthya slate of diagnostics, where there is this backpack which has a solar charger attached to it, and it can be taken into any rural areas, and up to 22 parameters can be done on this diagnostic device, which can run power free. So this is where our strength as a country lies, in the chemistry. Because of the pharmaceutical background, we have a lot of raw material suppliers in India. So that gives us the leverage of getting the raw material supplies, and also the machinery. So a lot of the pharmaceutical machinery which is used in manufacturing is also used in the diagnostics manufacturing. So we have the world-class fully automatic instruments, machines that can be used in our manufacturing processes and in our facilities. And combined with the information technology strength that we have, we can build smart devices. So the future lies in mobile devices, the future lies in IoT, the future lies in wearables. So this combined with our strength in chemistry is where edge over the rest of the world. Coming to the Indian IVD industry, the Indian IVD industry is approximately $900 million. 80% of it is the reagents and 20% is the equipment. India is very strong when it comes to the reagent manufacturing, since we have a legacy continuing from the pharmaceutical industry. So coming to the reagent manufacturing in chemistry especially, and hematology, you'll see India is very strong. In the equipment, we are import dependent. We are still importing a lot of equipment, but with the Make in India initiative coming forward and medical device parks coming ahead, there's also equipment manufacturing happening in India now. Looking at the segments, if you look at the segments, the biggest segment, as always, is the clinical chemistry or biochemistry, which is around $250 million. In this segment, India is very strong. We have a strong base of manufacturing segment, and we are manufacturing almost all the parameters that are required in biochemistry. Coming to immunology, again a very large segment, $250 million. In this segment, again we are manufacturing. So the rapid test in India is dominated by, you could say, almost 80% of the manufactured products, and which are being exported also. Then we come to the molecular diagnostics. Again, we have seen a lot of success in molecular diagnostics, especially with COVID tests happening. RT-PCR tests are being made in India. Hematology, I would say 95% of hematology reagents being used in India currently are being made in India. So we are very strong in the hematology reagent manufacturing. Microbiology is about $60 million. Again, manufacturing happening there. Urine analysis, it's a very competitive market. So again, we are doing very well by manufacturing here. Coagulation reagents are being manufactured in India. So you see, out of all the segments, we are manufacturing the reagents in all the segments. There's not a single segment which is available where in India we are not manufacturing the reagents. There has been a lot of interest because of the strength that we have for manufacturing. So in terms of the economical labor, in terms of scientists, and in terms of the captive market. So we have had a lot of M&As and PE deals that have happened, which can show you the interest of the manufacturing that is happening in India. So the most recent was Everstone Capital. They have invested in CPC Diagnostics, which is based in Chennai. And Perkin-Elmer has invested in Tulip Diagnostics, which is one of the largest in vitro diagnostic companies of India. And Tosho from Japan has invested in Lilac, and Acre from Japan has invested in Span. So you can see that these companies are looking at India as one of their manufacturing hubs. So they're moving their investments over here to start manufacturing the products. And if you look at the Indian IVD industry as an overall bird's eye view, it's one of the most price competitive industries in the world. And the reason is because we have almost no import tariff on non-tariff barriers. So compared to other countries where they have a higher import duty to protect the domestic industry, in our case, that's not so. Our import duties are negligible, so we are competing with the rest of the world. We don't have import tariff barriers. It is simple for companies who want to come into India and do business. So we have most of the in vitro diagnostic companies present in India, from large companies to small companies to medium companies. So that creates the market very competitive because you have most of the companies that are present in the world over here, and most of the companies want to come to India since India is a very good market in terms of size. To be present is the second highest growing market in the world. So this leads to a lot of competition, and this competition has made us strong, because if we can compete with the companies in India where there's I would say the no tariff or non-tariff barriers, we can compete with them anywhere in the world. So this has made us really strong in terms of being able to compete. And India being one of the most price sensitive markets, because in India, diagnostic tests are out-of-pocket expenses. So that leads to a lot of price competition in the market. And that price competition makes us very competitive to be able to supply good quality products at a competitive price. We have close to 70 FDA approved manufacturers in India for diagnostic reagents. And there's a very strong presence in rapids and reagent manufacturing. India has, in fact, the largest cassettes and the laminate manufacturing company in the world, who manufactures the maximum number of laminates and not only supplies to Indian manufacturers but also exports it all over the world. And our companies based in India are exporting to over 150 countries worldwide, the diagnostic test. And if you look at the most recent success story, COVID-19 has been a great success. When it comes to the swabs, a simple product, we were importing these products 100%. And in 10 days, the government and the private sector got together and decided, we need to start manufacturing the swabs in the country for the RT-PCR test. And the price has come down to 1/10. So before this, all the swabs were being imported either from USA or from China. but within 10
Sorry to break you, Abhinav, you have only 2 minutes more left.
I'm almost done. So within 10 days, the government was able to, with the private sector, to come into and start manufacturing these swabs at 1/10 the cost price. And this is a great success story. Viral transport mediums, again, India is self-sufficient now for the COVID-19 test. In terms of rapid and ELISA test, also we have got manufacturers in the country who are manufacturing the COVID-19 rapid and ELISA manufacturing test, and also RT-PCR. We have RT-PCR manufacturers based in the country who are able to do it. Currently, the government has restricted the exports so that there's no shortage of the IVD diagnostics in the country. But there is a way out. You can approach the DGFT. If there is no shortage, we can go ahead and export the products. And soon after June, the exports is going to be free, where we're going to be able to export all these products to all over the world, hopefully. So with that, I would like to thank you all, and looking towards a bright future in India for the in vitro diagnostics segment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abhinav. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sanjeev. He will speak on PPE and masks in India. Dr. Sanjeev, he is a CEO of Charlex Overseas, has an extensive experience over 20 years working with healthcare industry across different verticals, including pharmaceutical and surgical products. His profound qualities of enthusiasm, perseverance, vision, and live network has made Charlex Overseas a preferred company for a product related to infection prevention clothing segment, consisting of single-use as well as multi-use products. He is an expert in technical textile for infection control. He is a founder chairman of Preventive Wear Manufacturing Association of India, an association of manufacturer of prevention wear products of Indian origin, having more than 70 members in Pan-India. Dr. Sanjeev, please take over.
Yeah, good morning everybody at Peru, and good evening everybody at India. So we'll be giving a brief presentation about the scenario of PPE globally and advantage India. Julia, can you please allow me sharing the screen? Yes, you have. Thank you. I believe it is visible to all. Yeah. So here we start with the PPE industry overview. The global personal PPE market was valued at US $52.7 billion in 2019, and if you can see that it has risen to a CAGR of 10% now from 2019 to 26. The global market of this PPE basically consists of 5 major ingredients: hand protection, face protection, hearing protection, footwear, respiratory, and protective clothing. Of these, the eye-end face protection segment is anticipated to surpass USD 5 billion in 2026 at a CAGR of whopping 11%. Then, so many countries have set up special funds for COVID-19 infection control. Here we have just tried to give a glimpse on this. Like Germany is stopping at somewhere around 800 million USD only for COVID-19 infection control process. Then there is another segment, exactly PPE actually consists of scrub suits also, for surgical gowns also, and at times surgical drapes also. I believe everybody who is in medical sector is aware of this. Surgical drapes and gowns market size was valued at $2.87 billion in 2019, and it is anticipated to grow at a rate of 4.4. I believe it is going to increase because most of the countries are now using gowns as a PPE, as a primary PPE. Here we are trying to give you an market analysis by geography. North America, if you can see, has dominated the surgical drapes and gown market with a share of 44% in 2019. So that gives us a chance. If we Indians reach Peru, we can cover the entire US also, at least the Latin America part. And this COVID-19 has played a very big role. you can see with the rise in COVID-19 outbreak in various countries, isolation of patients and doctors have been taking place, which is set to act as a drive of the surgical drapes and gowns market, as there is a medium to high risk of contamination as regulated by the FDA. It is a class 2 medical device with 510K pre-market notification, which I believe is the same for Peru also. And now we come to India as advantage. It's evident now that healthcare sector in India has rapidly progressed in the last decade. Today we are very favorably positioned due to the medical device rules coming in play from 1st April 2020. Even the surgical drapes and gowns are now medical devices. And then we move on to government initiatives. This is something to note, that Make in India program is boosting manufacturing in the country, and the medical device industry is a primary beneficiary. Special programs and policies have been put in place that makes it easier to partner with Indian manufacturers. The government of India has also approved medical device parks to be set up in the states of Telangana, Andhra, Tamil Nadu and Kerala to offer a plug-and-play framework. I believe one AMTSL is already functional. And this proposal is going to boost the medical device industry a lot. That is, we are going to set up a national medical device authority that will optimize manufacturing process, control quality, manage costs, and support the development of medical device parks. This will definitely further the boosting of medical device production within the subcontinent. Cost-effective operations, this is something where we have a winning situation. The manufacturing cost, the nominal hourly wages for contract workers is $3 in India as compared to $9 in China. With its progress in deploying new engineering technologies, India is also well placed to effectively use complex, miniatured, connected and advanced materials that require sophisticated production processes. Then we have come up with a policy for intellectual property rights and data security that is now being, if not at par, but not less than US and European Union also. This is one thing where we are getting a good support from Government of India. Like at present, we have more than 10 functioning labs for testing of this PP material as per ASTM and European standards also, ISO standards. And more 5 or 6 are coming soon within next 1 week. So we'll have a good infrastructure of testing so that we can qualify the global protocols of the quality. IoT is one thing where Indians are expert. IoT has played a significant role in improving supply chain management by enabling better tracking of assets. So we have already started using RFID tags for tracking the multiple use of gowns. There's lots of use of multiple use gowns and multiple use scrub suits in US. We have now here tried to present some global standards which will help you. In India, for surgical mask, we have a standard of IS 16289. In Peru, it is ASTM F2101 and ASTM F1215 for BSc. And globally, it is EN 14683, which is an ISO standard. For respirators, in India, we have 9473. For European, we have FFP1, FFP2, FFP3 under EN 149. And to the USA and Peru, it is 29 CFR 1910.134. New certification N95, which is properly known as. Then for protective garments, we now have a Indian standard also, IS 17334 2019, and this actually surpasses the requirement of any PB levels. Therein we have tried to cover those points which were already not covered under any PB levels. Then EN 14126 2003 is the standard for PP coveralls. And we as a country are now upgrading ourselves to this standard, and within next 15 days, I believe most of the manufacturers will be ready with the quality at par with EN 14126. Then EN 13795 is for the surgical clothing and drapes, and as earlier discussed, that MEPB 70 2012, where we have level 1, 2, level 3 and level 4 for gowns and drapes. So this is all. I thank you for participation and sparing your time for this.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Mr. Rajiv Nath. Mr. Rajiv Nath is a Managing Director of Hindustan Syringe and Medical Devices, which has over a turnover of 600 crores. He is a president of All India Syringe and Needle Manufacturing Association. He is also founder and forum coordinator for the IMED with over 350 members nationwide, whereby medical device manufacturers of all types of technologies have been attracted nationwide on one platform. He entered his family business, that is Hindustan Syringe and Medical Devices, as soon as after he finished his college, that is in 1984. Mr. Nath, please take over.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Pathak. It's my pleasure that after nearly 1 year of efforts, we are finally communicating like this. Mr. Castaneda was very kind enough to reach out to India last year and invite a delegation from the medical device industry to visit Peru last year. We could not do it last year because of the long distances. There was a PharmExcel delegation that went over. But fortunately, because of IT and because of COVID, now that the culture of webinar is here, so we can still meet, even though we are across the world. I would also like to thank out to Julia for making the communication and the introduction to all the people here.
Thank you.
Mr. Pathak and Mr. Rao for InCham to give us the perspective from the point of view of Peru. And just now you've already heard Mr. Abhinav Thakur talk about IVD and Dr. Sanjeev talk about the medical garment segments. So about myself, I am representing the medical device industry of India. And we believe that we are going through a very exciting phase. And if things work out well, we can be the most exciting thing after IT and pharma to hit in India. So most of the medical devices you already are aware about, whether it's consumables or disposables or implants or instruments. And about IMED, we have got about more than 350 manufacturers as members. But just in the last 2 weeks alone, this has gone up by more than 150 people additionally. And most of them are from the COVID new product segments, from PPE, from masks, and from diagnostics. A lot of new manufacturing taking place over there. We also have more than 200 associate members who are exporters or who are about IMED. I was just telling you that from IMED we've got about 350 people and we got 200 associate members. And in the case of medical devices, we got 7 vertical segments. So we have been able to grow very rapidly in the recent couple of months, I would say. And in the case of IVDs, we've got, in the case of, PPEs, there used to be 20 manufacturers before COVID and now there are more than 40. There used to be 120 now actually. And there used to be a manufacturing capacity of 6 million pieces before and now it's more than 200 million pieces now. In the case of gloves, we've got more than 27 manufacturers now. And in the case of ventilators, we've gone up from 8 manufacturers up to 15 manufacturers. The capacity has gone up from 3,000 pieces per year to 300,000 pieces per year, more than 100 times. In the case of sanitizers, we've gone up from 35 manufacturers to 48 manufacturers, and the capacity has gone up to more than 50 million liters per annum, up from 19 million liters per annum. We used to be having just 2 manufacturers for goggles. Now we've got more than 16. In the case of masks manufacturing, we've got more than 45 manufacturers to make masks, up from 21. And from a capacity of 300 million pieces per year in February, we've increased capacity to more than 1.74 billion pieces per year now. That's a huge jump. We never had any swab making in India for diagnostics, and now we've got 3 manufacturers. For RNA extraction kits, we didn't have anybody before. For COVID, we've got 8 manufacturers now. For molecular diagnostics, we've got 5 manufacturers now. And for rapid diagnostics, we've got 2 manufacturers currently, but more than 10 are expected to start manufacturing in about a month's time. Now that's a huge jump you can see just in the very recent past. If you can just bear with me. In the case of disposables, we've got companies like HMD, Medical Electrodes, Carnum Latex, Surgiware and MRK, which are the leading manufacturer for disposables. In the case of consumables, we've got Romsons, Polymedicure, Healthium, who makes sutures, BA Life Sciences, and Dynor Orthotics, which is in consumables for the orthopedic side. Electronic industry, we got Trivitron, we got Allengers, we got BPL, we got Scanray, and ITPL. And in the case of equipments like beds, etc., and incubators, we've got Midmark, we've got Remy, we've got Cura, we've got Shivani, which makes IVD, IVF, sorry, equipments, and Phoenix, which makes baby incubators. In the case of implants, India is again becoming very strong. We've got very large manufacturers for coronary implants like SMT and Merrill. For intraocular implants, we've got Apaswamy and Orolab. For orthopedic implants, we've got companies like Biorad and Medisystems and scores of many more companies. In diagnostics, instruments and reagents, we've got TransAsia, who've got more than 16 factories now worldwide. We've got Trivitron, who's got more than 4 factories worldwide. And Merrill, which has also got more than 4 factories worldwide. We also have Agape, and we got Mitra Industries. In surgical instruments, we got ASCO, we got Allen Electronics, we have got HMD, we got Quality Needles, which makes suture needles, and we got Endomed Technologies, which makes endoscopes. The export of the country has gone up to more than $1.8 billion, and it's growing at the rate of more than 15% a year. In the last few years, India has put up a lot of infrastructure in case of medical devices. We have an institute for establishing R&D and coordinating all R&D efforts in the country under the Kalam Institute of Healthcare Technology at a city called Visakhapatnam. We've introduced a quality voluntary management system called ICMET system by the Quality Council of India. Regulations were brought in the country, and now all devices are regulated under the medical device rules since 2017. These rules were introduced, and now they are implemented for all devices from 1st April this year. There was a huge issue of civil rights people talking about the high cost of medical care. And due to this, there was price capping on the prices of stents and knee implants, but we manufacturers have been supporting that because the manufacturing price was not regulated, only the retail price and the trade margins were regulated.
Sorry to cut you, Mr. Nath. You have 1 minute more, please.
Okay. So,
Mr. Nath, one more thing.
Coming up, and the Practical Skill Development Consortium, and we've also got now a complete ecosystem to invite more than $15 billion worth of investments in the country. So going forward, we are very fortunate that now devices are being regulated separately from drugs, and this is making sure that they are being treated as engineering products and will be aligned to what US FDA and Europe is the way they're regulating the products. So coming to Peru, we can be assured in Peru that the regulatory regime of Peru, whatever you're wishing for, you'll find the same kind of quality certification from Indian manufacturers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nath.
About the presentation.
Mr. Pathak and Mr. Nath, I just found your presentation. Mr. Pathak, if you allow, just I can play. If Mr. Nath is okay, comfortable?
Yeah.
For a minute. Mr. Nath,
yeah,
can I?
Please.
Sure, please.
All right. I'll just take a move on this. It's a PDF file.
Okay.
Is this visible?
Yeah.
All right. Is slide visible? All slides?
No, nothing is visible yet. We'll have to open.
I think so. This is in PDF, so that's creating an issue. I think so.
Okay.
No issues. We'll just move then. Okay.
Should we move ahead with the questions? Thank you, Mr. Nath.
Thank you.
We have received some questions from a few of the participants by email to Miss Julia. Like there's one. The first question is from Mr. Vaidyaharan Nair from Mumbai. This is for Mr. Sandro. What are the opportunities and challenges? Sandro?
Hello, sorry.
Hello.
Yes.
Hay una pregunta. Sí.
I didn't understand the question.
What are the opportunities and challenges?
Well, in medical devices, there is a lot of opportunities right now. We are a country that we have a not big, strong industry in medical devices. We import like 95% of our medical device and equipments. So we have just experience in sutures and some pads and some gauze, but there is anything else. So I think the opportunity for India is in all in the whole sector. No, there is a lot of options in as you show. I saw the tests, for example, the IVD, medical device equipment. I think all. The challenge is that we have to improve our communication. I think so. We need more. I think meetings like this. Incham is doing a great work with this, but we have a lot of. We need to think a lot of kind of this coordinations, because there is a lot of opportunities for India here in Peru. No.
Thank you, Thank you, Sandro. I would like to pass on the question to Mr. Abhinav. This question is from Mr. Santosh Srivastava of Lucknow. He is asking procedure to export IVD products to Latin America. Also Peru included in that.
This is for whom?
Abhinav Thakur.
He is unmuted already.
Muted.
You just have to unmute yourself.
All right. I did. Okay, no issues. Yeah.
Please go ahead, Abhinav.
So IVD exports to Latin America is same like IVD exports to rest of the world. It is a free export. Just recently, because of the COVID pandemic, the government of India had decided to restrict the exports so that the important test, like the important COVID test, India has enough self-sufficient tests before we send it out of the country. So saying that the exports are restricted, but they're not banned. So before exports, you have to just go take approval from the Directorate General of Foreign, DGFT, and then you can go ahead and make the export. And pretty soon, once the government is sure that we have enough capacity, this application process will be done away with, and the exports will be free, and we'll be able to export it to Latin America or rest of the world. So a similar case has happened in sanitizers. Sanitizers exports was restricted. The government has recently this month, in fact, removed the restriction and allowed free exports of sanitizers. And we're expecting that to happen very free soon for diagnostic products. And saying that currently we're still allowed to export diagnostic products, we just have to take approval from the DGFT in India and be able to export it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinav.
Soon happen for a mask also, it'll open up soon in the same way.
I was just having a question for Dr. Sanjeev on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you, Abhinav. This question is for Dr. Sanjeev. We received it from Srinivasan Babu from Pondicherry. He's asking when the exports of masks will open because more and more manufacturers have come up locally. We don't get good price.
The talks are already on with the government of India. We have now overcapacity. The only thing is there are some hiccups for the global standards testing. So as soon as that is completed, Ministry of Textile of India is working on that. CDSU is working on that. So as soon as that glitch is completed, I hope exports will be on of face mask and all PPs, maybe within 2 days or maybe within maximum 7 days. So they are working on this.
There is one question from Mr. Rajiv Nath. Another Mr. Rajiv Nath we have. So I'm unmuting him. He's he has raised the hand. Yeah, he would like to answer. I think so.
Yeah,
Mr. Nath, please.
I would like to add to this that for most of the COVID products, unfortunately, the government had to restrict the exports, whether for PPE or masks or for the IVD reagents or ventilators. So I've seen the list which has been given by you. Things like oximeters, etc. But we do expect that for most of these items, the restrictions will be removed in June, latest by July, and then you can start getting the goods from India. But meanwhile, you're welcome to reach out to Indian companies, screen them, choose the suppliers, see the quality and certificates, and once the exports open up, you'll be ready to buy and we'll be ready to sell. Thank you.
Please unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. There's one question I would like to ask Mr. Rajiv Nath. Mr. Rajiv is from Mr. Sachida Prasad from New Delhi. He's asking, what is the future growth in medical device industries in India?
Well, we expect that the medical device industry in India, which has been growing at more than 10 to 15% a year, will be now accelerating. Both from the exports point of view and also the Make in India initiatives coming forward. There'll be more opportunities coming forward. Just a few days back, the government has announced a very major change in the Buy India policy. So now for most of the tenders in the country, the Indian manufacturers will be the preferred manufacturers and suppliers for the domestic tenders.
Okay, thank you very much. Now with this, we end up the questions answers session. I would like to call Mr. Nath from IMET to do the closing remarks of this webinar. Mr. Nath.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pathak. Thank you, Mr. Rao, for your very detailed presentations about the diagnostics and for the regulatory requirements and the business opportunities in Peru for the medical device industry. My own company, HMD, has been selling to Peru for many years our surgical blades and some of our disposable syringes. So I've been looking for an excuse for a long time to visit Peru. And going forward, let's hope things settle down post-COVID, that international travel will be resumed and the goods will be going to Peru, and we'll also follow that. Mr. Castaneda, thank you very much for reaching out to the Indian industry and building bridges and making sure that the various components of the Indian industry, including medical devices, find a place in Peru. I appreciate always your overtures to us, and you're very proactive and a very warm and welcoming stance. My fellow Indians, Peru and the market over there definitely is something I would request you to focus upon. Look forward to finding the right kind of distributors over there, search the market, and please do explore it. Along with this seminar, I think INCHAM also has invited other commerce, I think from the neighboring countries of Argentina and Brazil also, so maybe they're also listening in. So I would request INCHAM and the members of these other commerce chambers that you may kindly send your email request to us, and we will share it to our various members in IMED for various kinds of medical devices that you may be seeking from India. We are a good alternative to China and to USA and Europe. We are not that expensive as USA and Europe. We are more reasonable, and the quality you can be assured will be much better than from China. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nath. With this, I would like to thank all the participants and the speakers who have attended this webinar. Have a good day and have a good evening to
Mr.
all of you.
Pathak,
Yes.
Mr. Pathak, Mr. Rao, President of INCHAM, would like to speak for a while.
Yeah. Mr. Rohit, please take.
Yeah. Thank you very much again, everybody, for your fantastic presentation. And quite happy to see the India is really growing a lot. Something small on which Abhinav said, and I like to really push on that, the reagents market and the diagnostic markets in all these small, in future, what is going to come in, post-COVID is going to be huge. So I would also request the Indians to concentrate on all these rapid tests like malaria, dengue, and all the other products, which is going to be very big. People are very clear that they want to be diagnosed fast, so medicines can be given quicker. So something on that, I would really request everybody to look into it seriously and look in for some simple machines, because today most of the multinationals are giving machines, which is like on a databases, which very soon India will have to find a way to give open machines or find some sort of machines where Indian reagents can work. So there's a lot of future, huge future in diagnostics also in the country. Yeah. Thank you very much. And that was all. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Bye.
Mr. Pathak.
Thank you.